I participated in my first game jam ever, the Brackeys game jam for 2025. And the theme was Nothing Can Go Wrong. At first the theme seemed straightforward, but the more I brainstormed ideas, the harder it seems to execute. Nonetheless, I had to go through it. So on the first day I knew what the theme was, I started brainstorming. And I came up with two ideas. The first was a character that changes his mechanics each level he progresses. For example, the first level, everything is normal. The second level, controls get inversed, and so on. But I couldn't think of much more mechanics to change other than 2 or 3 mechanics. So I had to scrap that idea and kept brainstorming. And for the second idea, I came up with a story like which you play as a character that has to go to an interview, but on the way you have some NPCs that you can or you cannot help them in their daily problems. It's up to you. So with that idea that I liked, I started working on it. With day 1, I began with creating a character and I created the first level. And I created the first quest to do, which is a girl and her grandma that you have to help or you cannot help to get their cat from a building. After a lot of trial and error and some bug fixing of course, I made it work, and I added some dialogue because it's a quest and you have to do a dialogue. And to be honest, creating a dialogue was pretty painful for me because it's the first time to create a dialogue, but I managed to make it work with some tinkering around. It might not be the best solution I did, but it worked. So it's in the game now. And after I finished implementing the logic for that quest, I started working on some art because I really don't like the game looking like just gray and some random images or shapes. So I designed the main character, the girl and her grandma, and the cat that goes along with them. And to be honest, for this game and this project, most of the time was consumed just by the art. And by the end of day 1, I was exhausted, so I had to call it. On day 2, I continued working on some art, adding more characters, just drawing them for now, and also I finished to integrate the art of the girl and the cat and the grandma in the quest, and I was pretty happy with how it turned out to be. It wasn't perfect the way I wanted it to be, considering I had a limited time and I was pressured because of course it was my first game jam, but in the end it went pretty well. Next, I moved on creating some environment like roads, buildings, walls, trees, all this stuff. And after importing it into the engine, setting up the tile map and everything. Also after some bug fixes, because you just import something, there is a bug. You do simple stuff, there is a bug, as usual. Day 2 was done. On day 3, I really couldn't work. I had some stuff to do, so it was a skip for me for day 3. And on day 4, the development continued. I added another quest, which is a shopkeeper that you have to help or not collecting his apples that he dropped. This quest was actually pretty nice and fun to do because I learned new stuff like drag and drop in the Godot engine, and to be honest it wasn't pretty easy to do. I think in Unity the drag and dropping system is pretty easy to do and implement, but nonetheless with some googling and tinkering around I managed to make it work. And also this mechanic was pretty handy to do another quest with. So I wrapped up the apple quest and I have moved to another quest, which is a grandma that you have to help to cross the street. This quest was a nightmare for me to do. Not because of coding it or making some art for it. No, it was pretty easy to do that stuff. The hard thing is that I created the quest in a canvas group. So in a canvas group, it's like a UI element now. And then when I wanted to do some car spawning positioning, it all was messed up. So for the life of me, I couldn't figure out what was the problem, what was wrong. It was really time consuming. But once I figured out what was the problem, which was just positioning the canvas layer in the correct way, it was pretty easy from there to work with. And with that quest done, day 4 was done as well. On day 5, I really couldn't work much. I worked just 1 hour and I wasted it on some bug fixing and some light art, and I stopped working after that. And day 6 came and I created one more quest, which is a homeless person that you can help by giving him money or paper, or you can give him nothing if you want. It's up to you. I added some art for the homeless person, some art for the hand where you give the money or the paper, some art for those two both, and that's it for that quest. And originally I wanted to add one more quest, which is like type of combat based quest, where there is a girl that is being robbed and you can choose to help her or not. But with the time constraint, and since again it was my first game jam, I really didn't know how to manage my time properly, so I was feeling like that I don't have much enough time to finish everything. And I scrapped that idea away and I moved on to create some main stuff like main menu, cutscenes. I polished the dialogue UI, some other UIs as well, everything. And with that finished, I submitted my game. In the end, this game jam was pretty fun, pretty nice to do, and the team was pretty challenging, to be honest. Looking back at it, I could have done much more. I feel like I could have done things more better, and I feel like the first idea would have been maybe fun. I don't know, but to be honest, with this idea I did, it felt so relieved because I had so many stuff to do during the week. I didn't have much time, and it was a light, easy, simple, cozy game. And by the way, if you want to check the game, I will leave a link in the description. You can check it out, leave a honest opinion about it, and that stuff. And don't forget also to like and subscribe, it will help me a lot.